Hey everybody, welcome back to Gaijin Gaiden. And this time I want to talk about something that is one of those little details that I think a lot of people forget about when they move to another country, especially one where the people speak a different language. And that being that sooner or later you're going to find yourself in need of a haircut. And when you have difficulty communicating with people, especially something like little details, and especially stuff that like involves specialized vocabulary, that can sometimes be a real challenge. Um, and that's one thing. That's something I had to deal with today. Now, fortunately for me, I've got enough Japanese that I can kind of get through this sort of thing. But if you come here and you don't, it's a little bit of a challenge. As you can see, I've gotten myself a haircut. I think, yeah, I think maybe the way cameras do this, it always screws with me. But yeah, I think it was maybe a little much here. But on the other hand, I paid for this haircut about what I would pay in America. Previously, I've been going to this sort of salon place where basically I was getting hit for like 50 bucks a haircut. But it was like the only really recommended place that I'd been able to find. Now, when I lived in this city 10 years ago, it was great. I knew where there was a place where I could basically get a haircut for the equivalent of 10 bucks. And so that was really nice. So one thing here is that you do sometimes have to deal with the sticker shock. However, one nice thing is that the styling industry here in Japan has adopted quite a lot of English terms. So I walked into there and basically said to the guy in Japanese, I'd like a haircut. But I used sanpatsu, sanpatsu as the word. And the guy just said to me in English, cut? Oh, well, yeah, okay, that works. Although sometimes this is not always as simple as that. Um, like in here in Japan, we have the pamu. And if you think about it, you'll realize what the term is, but um, you might not right away realize that's perm. It's a completely different vowel sound, and of course, they're sticking a oo sound at the end. Uh, so this can cause confusion. Fortunately for me, I'm not a person who worries a great deal about style. Functionality has always been my preferred situation, and I just really honestly prefer my hair nice, to keep my hair short. If you watch my most recent video before this one, you see that I was definitely getting a little bit floppy, just because frankly I just was like, oh god, I don't have to cough up another 50 bucks. But fortunately, just the other day, one of my coworkers told me about a styling place. I mean, I'd seen it before, but he actually had gone there and given it a try, and he was a little about the place, but I did save 30 bucks, so I can't complain that much. Um, oh yeah, nowadays, of course, with computers and all of that, you do sort of have to deal with the situation, especially if you go to somewhere the first time where you have to give them your name and your address and your phone number. I mean, I can't really complain about that. Even the places I went to back in America would ask you for that, and that's really just so that they can kind of record how you like your hair done, and it just makes things life a lot easier for everybody. So I can't really begrudge this particular place for that. It's just that I hate having to write out my address in Japanese. Um, because some of the kanji for where I live are really complicated, and it's too small to read properly on my basically my alien registration card, my gaijin card. Um, and frankly, my handwriting in Japanese is pretty bad. So I always just sort of end up writing the really tough part in hiragana. That's no problem. I mean, hiragana is dirt simple to learn, so that's no problem. But one tip, and this is one I try to give a lot of people whenever I talk to people about who are interested in coming to Japan, advice is when it comes to haircuts, is before you come, get a picture of yourself with the hairstyle you like and show that to the stylist. It will save you so much hassle. Now, if you do go to these places and you want to kind of experiment around, they do have like these books. They have like the place I went to. I believe they would even give you a tablet with like hairstyles and stuff, and you can just kind of poke around and find whatever you want. Now, again, I wasn't really super interested in that. When I did go to the stylist, though, the fancy place where I was paying $50, I thought, well, if I'm going to shell out all this money, I might as well experiment a little. So I would sort of, before I went in, I would just sort of use my phone, poke around for like hairstyles that I thought looked good, and just say like, okay, can you do this? Can you do this? And like, they would tell me like, yeah, we can do that. So I sort of messed around with the way my hair was done a little bit, but ultimately I've kind of reverted to just sort of my preferred look. Of course, over the years I've had to come to terms with the fact that I do have my dad's receding hairline. You would never believe that I used to have bangs to like here when I was younger, but it is what it is. And honestly, I don't really have a problem with having a lot of forehead showing. Oof. Yeah, the sides. I don't know about the sides. But on the upside, one thing I do like about my hair is that even though it's got a bit of a bald spot coming in here, same as my dad, my hair has remained over the course of my life kind of nice and thick. It's sort of a weird thing. My father and my grandfather both have really thin hair, but I guess I got my nice thick hair from my mom. But anyway, I'm just sort of rambling aimlessly here, so I'm going to wrap it up, guys. Again, if you do come to Japan, you find yourself in need of a haircut and you want to experiment a little bit, a Japanese salon is actually quite a good place to do it. The folks there are I've never had a bad experience getting a haircut here. I mean, everybody at these places I've worked with has been very nice, very professional, and sometimes if I struggled with something, would do their very best to help me because sometimes I didn't always know the proper word for what I wanted. But everybody's always been very cool with me, and the people here, I mean, they know their business. But I definitely recommend that if you have a hairstyle you're fond of and you just want to keep doing that, get a picture of yourself with that cut and just show it to the stylist and your life will be a lot easier. Okay, everybody. Thanks for dropping by Gaijin Guiding today, and I'll talk to you another time. Okay. Until then, take care and have a good one.